Tom Morello stood in the corner of a hot rehearsal room in Los Angeles. His guitar buzzed through a cheap amp. Zach De La Rocha paced back and forth, notebook in hand, already shouting lyrics into the air like he was in front of 1,000 people. Nobody knew it yet, but they were building something explosive, something that would shake music, politics, and the entire system. But it almost didn't happen. Killing in the Name was never meant to be the centerpiece of anything. In fact, it was almost thrown away. The band Rage Against the Machine was just getting started, and all they had was raw energy, frustration, and a lot of noise. One day, while messing around on his guitar, Tom Morello found a strange riff. It didn't sound like anything else. It was heavy, almost hypnotic. Tom called it weird and thought it might not even work. But he played it anyway. Tim Comerford on bass picked it up quickly. Brad Wilkes slammed down on the drums. And Zach? He didn't even wait. He started shouting lines he had scribbled about police brutality, racism, and injustice. Some of those that work are the same that burn crosses. The room went silent, then louder, then unstoppable. They played the song a few more times. But when it came time to record their demo, something unexpected happened. They weren't even sure if it should be on the tape. It was raw. It was repetitive. Some thought it might be too much, but Tom had a feeling, and Zach refused to let it go. This wasn't just a song, it was a warning. But they still almost left it off. The tape that changed everything. The band didn't have a manager. No label, no radio play, just 4 angry guys and a handful of homemade cassette tapes. They burned those tapes themselves, about 12 songs recorded live in one session. No studio polish, no special effects, just fury. They gave those tapes to anyone who would listen. Friends, record tour clerks, club owners, skaters on the street. Killing in the Name wasn't the first song on the tape. It wasn't the last either. It was somewhere in the middle, almost buried. But once people heard that riff, that voice, and especially that ending chant, everything changed. It was the F.U. I won't do what you tell me, heard around the world. At first, no radio station would touch it. Too angry, too loud, too risky. But underground clubs started spinning it. College radio DJs couldn't stop playing it. Then something insane happened. One of the tapes ended up at a major record label. A guy in a suit listened. His jaw dropped. He said, "What the hell is this?" Within weeks, Rage Against the Machine got their first real offer. But still, there were voices inside the business saying the same thing. That song might be a problem. Too political. Too dangerous. Tom Morello remembered those moments. "We almost didn't include it on the demo," he said years later. "We didn't realize what we had." But now they know, and the world was about to find out. Rage hits the stage. Their first live shows were small. No lights, no fireworks, just raw power. But something was different when they played Killing in the Name. The crowd didn't just move, they exploded. The intro riff made people stop what they were doing. The lyrics made them think. The ending, it made them scream. This wasn't just a song, it was a movement. Soon, word spread. Rage Against the Machine was doing something new. They weren't just making music, they were challenging power, yelling truths that others whispered. At one show, a record label executive watched the crowd jump and shout every word. He looked stunned. "They're not singing. They're rioting," he whispered. When the band finally recorded their debut album, there was no debate. Killing in the Name had to be on it. But there was one final battle. The label wanted a clean version, a version without the 16 repetitions of "F.U. I won't do what you tell me." Zach De La Rocha refused. Tom backed him. "That's the whole point," he said. "You can't censor rebellion." The label gave in, and when the album dropped, that song hit like a bomb. It was banned. It was protested, but it was unstoppable. The legacy nobody saw coming. Years later, Tom Morello sat for an interview. The host asked him, "Did you know back then what this song would become?" Tom shook his head. "We almost didn't put it on the demo. We thought it was too weird, too raw. But it wasn't too weird. It was just real." In 2009, almost 2 decades after the song was born, it made history again. In the UK, a grassroots campaign pushed "Killing in the Name" to #1 on the Christmas charts. Why? To stop another pop song from a TV talent show from winning again. Millions joined in. Rage played a free concert in London as a thank you. The song was louder than ever. Tom looked out at the sea of people. He smiled, thinking back to that tiny rehearsal space, to that strange riff he almost tossed aside. Now the whole world was screaming it. I won't do what you tell me." From the street protests to high school bedrooms, from secret playlists to massive stadiums, this song had become a battle cry. And it almost didn't happen. That's the story of a song the world wasn't ready for. A song they nearly deleted. But one riff, one voice, one moment of defiance changed everything. Because sometimes the loudest message starts with the quietest doubt. And rage? They never stopped raging.